Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Avery. I'm 24 years old and I make videos all about personal finance and budgeting. So if that's something that interests you, feel free to stick around and subscribe. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a week 3 budget check-in. I do use the budgeting software YNAB or You Need a Budget to maintain everything that goes on in my finances. So if that's something you want to try, I do have a link down below for a 34-day free trial. If you decide to subscribe, I get a month free and you also get a month free. So it's kind of a win-win situation for both of us. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and talk about how the third week of April went for me. So if you watched my April budget with me, I think I said this was supposed to be a low spend month. And I'm going to be honest, it's been the exact opposite of a low spend month. I've just had a lot of stuff going on and I've just been spending a lot of money that I don't normally spend. But one thing about YNAB, or like the creator of YNAB has said before, he has said that saving, I'm trying to think how they worded it. It was saving is just a form of delayed spending. So all money that you save, you eventually plan to spend. For example, even if you save money in an emergency fund, ideally, yeah, you never want to touch it. But really what it is that it's delayed spending for a future emergency. You see what I'm saying? So I've been saving up money for a while now that I decided to spend, and that's kind of how I ended up spending so much money this month. So let's talk about the specifics. I'm just going to go account by account and talk about what transactions I had this week. So starting with my checking account, if I zoom in here, or maybe if I zoom out here, I had a transfer going from my savings account into my checking account, and that was $500, and it'll make sense as I go more into the budget about why. I also had a payment to my Capital One Journey credit card for $32.32, so that went out of my checking account. This is the big thing that happened this week. I ended up investing $2,449.10 into my Roth IRA, and I decided to do this because I wanted to max out my 2022 Roth IRA. I had some money sitting around that I said I was going to throw out my student loans once they go back into repayment. I currently owe a little over $22,000 in federal student loans, and they have been in forbearance since I graduated in May of 2020. I had been saving up at least, I think it's $2,200 or about $2,000 towards making a payment because I was under the impression that maybe $20,000 would be forgiven. Of course, we don't know. We still don't know, but it's probably not going to happen. But I'd been thinking about it a lot more, and my just overall perspective and attitude towards debt has changed a lot since I first started my YouTube channel, or since I first started my personal finance journey, really. And I had just decided that, you know what, there's always things I can do for my student loans. Like I can always refinance them. I can always put them on an income-driven repayment plan if I lose my job. I can always make it work and kind of negotiate the payment more or less. But there's no really, once the deadline is passed for contributing to your retirement account for that year, you can't go back and contribute that money. Of course, some retirement accounts have catch-up contributions, but that's when you're older. And it really doesn't give you as much bang for your buck because you don't have the benefit of compound interest building up over time if you are doing catch-up contributions so late into your working life and so close to retirement. You see what I mean? So I'm 24, so the more money I put aside now, the less money I have to put aside over the course of my working life in order to have a comfortable retirement. And that's why I ended up deciding to put that money that I had saved towards my student loans towards my investment account, so my Roth IRA. So I'm not regretting it. I'm very excited about that, and I'm looking forward to going and hopefully maxing out my 2023 Roth IRA. We'll see what happens. I don't know if I'm bringing in as much income as I was last year, but we'll just see what happens. So that's what happened this week. That's the big reason why my budget is like completely blown out. You may or may not consider like Roth spending or like investing to be a form of spending, but it is money that's leaving my bank account. So to some it's like considered an expense, and to some it's not. So it's kind of just how you look at it, but it does cause a big like cash outflow from my overall like liquid cash, if that makes sense. Moving on, I had my gas payment come out for $51.85. And then I also got $13 on Zelle from my boyfriend. He was giving me some money that he was paying me back for something that I bought on my like Apple store or Apple ID. So he gave me $13 for that, and more of that will make sense as I go further into the video. Okay, so speaking of savings account, I had $500 that moved from there to my checking, so that's all that happened there. High yield savings account, nothing happened in the past week. I haven't been paid. I only get paid once per month, and I haven't gotten any interest on this account yet this month, so hopefully soon. Going down to my Quicksilver, this is my daily driver. It's my Capital One Quicksilver card. I think it gives a 1.5% unlimited cash back, so it's not like amazing. It doesn't focus on a specific category, but I don't really have to maximize certain categories like groceries or gas or anything like that. So I just end up using this one as kind of more of a catch-all sort of card, just to give me a little bit of cash back on every single transaction. So I'm going to start down in the bottom and talk about what I bought. I think I already talked about those in the last video. So scrolling up, I spent, starting on 417, I spent $2 on parking. This was at the hospital. I had a doctor's appointment. I was in the hospital earlier this month, and I've just been having some follow-up. I do have a surgery or a procedure scheduled on Tuesday, so hopefully that goes well, and I won't have any further issues, and I can finally leave it all behind me and get back to exercising. On 417, I also spent $2.98 at Raising Cane's. I was really craving a lemonade. I've been in a lemonade kick lately, so that's what happened there. I spent $5.95 on a decaf latte. I've been trying to drink less caffeine, but decaf latte is just really not that good. Something about decaffeinated coffee, I know it's just like more processed, it just tastes terrible to me, and you can really taste the difference, and it somehow feels like more chemically, if that makes sense. So I'm really not a fan of it so far, and I've tried multiple decaf coffee and decaf lattes, decaf espresso, and it just doesn't seem that good to me. I spent $8.75 at a bakery. I spent $9.67 at Raising Cane's. This time I got like chicken, like just a chicken, like a 3-piece chicken meal. $3.43 at Sonic. I'm doing really bad with my excuse me. I'm doing really bad with my spending category, to the point that starting next month, and I'll talk about this more in my May budget with me video. I have changed around my budget again. I've more or less spring cleaned my finances, but for now, everything is just going into one category as far as dining out goes, and any sort of like extra spending goes. And so that's why I spent $3.43 at Sonic. I got a slushie. I really like the blue raspberry with Nerds slushie, so I need to cut it back on just eating out and sweets. But that being said, I spent $5.65 at Starbucks. I got the pink drink. I spent $8 at Target. There's a trend this week. I spent $49.95 on a gift for my boyfriend. His birthday is next month. He's been really into making music, like EDM, I guess, or just any sort of music. And there's all these sorts of different things you can buy on the computer to help you with like electronic music. And there was something he wanted, and he asked me if I'd buy it for him for his birthday, and I said yes, so there's that. $69.99 on Spectrum, that's my internet service. $4.61 at Panera Bread. I bought a bagel and like a coffee. $5.30 at Buckeye Donuts. $10.75 at a coffee shop. I bought like this homemade Pop-Tart, which are really good, and I bought a latte, not decaffeinated. I spent $30 on a medical copay that I had from back when I was in January. I have a lot of medical bills that are kind of just floating around at the moment, so I'm trying to get more on top of my finances. And just in general this week, I find that I was really on top of my finances in the sense that I was recording every transaction as it was happening, and I found that gave me the best clarity and peace of mind about where I was financially during the week. Even if I was overspending, I was making a conscious decision to do it and move money around, so it wasn't the end of the world and I did not feel stressed out. So I'm really liking that I've been doing that again, and I was like, wow, I'm so peaceful. Who would have thought? And I'm hoping that these weekly budget check-ins will also just help me with that as well. Just stay more accountable to myself, basically. I spent $6.44 at Apple Care. It's because I got a new Apple product. More of that at the end of this video. $15.32 today at a coffee shop. I bought myself a coffee, my boyfriend a coffee, and we bought this like cereal bar. It was like Fruity Pebbles cereal bar. And I spent $35. It technically says it happened today, but it actually happened yesterday. I just recorded the transaction this morning. So it's a little out of order, but I spent $35 at Mongolian Barbecue, which I hadn't been to since before the pandemic. If you've never been to Mongolian Barbecue, it's basically, or I'm not really sure where all the locations are, but it's basically this place that does like, oh gosh, what's it called? It's not like hibachi style, but it's more like there's a main grill and you go down the line and you choose which meat you want, if you want seafood, if you want that, and all the vegetables. It's stir fry. So they do like a stir fry grill. And then you go up there and you basically, they make you whatever you want. You choose your sauce, you choose your spices, and then you get to eat it. And it's nice because like how much food you get is dependent on how much you can stuff into like your bowl. So I am very, very good at this. So when I go to Mongolian Barbecue, it only costs like $14 for a bowl, but I can take home the leftovers and eat on it for a couple of days. That being said, the reason why it's $35 is because I got a bowl and then my boyfriend had 2 beers and I think that's it actually. That's all it was, plus tip. So it's $35. Moving on my Journey card, I made that payment like I mentioned earlier, $32.32. I just noticed that repeats itself. And then I also today spent $13.96 on Procreate. And the reason why I spent $13.96 on Procreate, which is an app that you can use to like make, I guess, different forms of art. I've been messing around with it a little bit, is because I actually got an iPad. I got an iPad 11-inch Pro, but the key here is I did not pay for it. My boyfriend actually graciously, I guess, ended up buying it for me as an early birthday present. He's a very supportive person. He's great. We've been together for 3 years now, and he ultimately just wants to see me happy. So he wanted to buy me an iPad because he thought it'd be nice for me as far as like digital planning and just being more creative in general, which is why we bought Procreate. And it's also why I bought the iPad. So I'll insert a photo, but basically I got the iPad 11-inch Pro, the 256 gigabytes, the Apple Pen, so I can like draw and things like that, and I got a case, the Magic Keyboard case, so I have the keyboard attachment as well, and I think that's it. And then I have Apple Care for it now too, so that's where one of the Apple charges was this week. But the reason why I mention it is because we made an offer, because my birthday isn't until June, but my boyfriend's birthday is in May. So he said he'd buy the iPad for me now, but he wanted to get a pair of Oakley's because he likes to ride his bike, and just like the wideness of an Oakley sunglasses really helps when like just keep bugs out of your eyes basically. So I ended up buying those for him, and it cost me $197.80, and I put this in my gifts category since it is a gift, but I had to move the money from my future moving fund. So I went from $1,200 in there down to $1,000, and the reason why I was fine with this is because I was crunching some numbers for the future, just trying to project out like how much cash flow I'm projected to bring in and when I'm supposed to move. And I can talk about it more probably in my May budget with me video, but I determined that I have more than enough money in this category over the next few months, what I plan to contribute to it, that I actually don't need all of it. So I decided that I was comfortable with taking out $200 because really I'm moving in with my boyfriend, and I already have first month's rent in here. I don't have to worry about a security deposit. That's already covered. And what else? I'm blanking here. Oh, first month's rent, and the only thing I really else wanted to buy was a standing desk and a computer chair, and that's not going to cost a ton of extra money in addition to what I already have saved, so I think it'll be okay. So I'm comfortable with that. Other things I spent this week was I bought some groceries. I actually bought some sushi at Lucky's Market for $7.99. Kroger, I had just a variety of things. I spent $4 on the household. I bought some mouthwash, and I spent $17.29 on some medical supplies. On April 20th, I bought gas. That was $39.95. On 4/21, I had my Home Chef subscription come out. I get this about every-ish week. Sometimes I skip it depending on what the month is like for me and how much food I already have in the fridge or in the freezer. But that's $70.93, and this is for 6 servings. If you want to try Home Chef, I'll leave a link down below if you've been looking to try a meal delivery service, but no pressure. I will say, if you use it, my link, you get $35 off your free box, and I get $35 as well. So just throwing it out there. But then finally, I also bought a donut yesterday. So that was $3.30. And then I also went to a coffee shop and I bought myself a latte and my boyfriend a drip coffee, and it was $8.75. So I didn't do the math on how much this week has cost me, but it's probably it's getting close to $3,000, if not $3,000, because almost $2,500 in my Roth IRA alone, $200 with the Oakleys, $70 for Home Chef. So between like all my big ticket items, I have spent a lot of money this week. So if I go into like my reports on here and just look at my spending for this month, I can probably see that I'm like way over. Okay, this month. Okay, yep. I've spent almost $5,000, and that probably does not go with any sort of trend. If I look here, like the latest 3 months, I've spent $11,000 so far, which is crazy. It's been a very spendy month. But again, you have to think, like almost $2,500 went into my investment account. So depending on who you ask, I didn't spend that money. I just put it away for like future me, I guess. But another thing I want to mention is not my net worth. I'll do a separate video on that, just kind of going into that in more detail. But if I zoom out a little bit and go down, I've only brought in 7 cents in income this month so far, because I get paid at the end of every month, not at the beginning. I only get paid once a month because I'm salaried. So all I have is the interest payment on one of my bank accounts, and it's not a high yield savings account, if you couldn't tell by the 7 cents of interest that it got me. So really I've just been kind of more or less hemorrhaging cash out of my account, but it's not going to even out because I don't get paid this much. I get paid around $3,200 a month take home. But yeah, it's been a very spendy month. But honestly, I'm not feeling bad about it because I actually kept up with all of my expenses, and I kept track of all the transactions and put them in real time instead of just kind of avoiding it or letting them import in when my bank account connects. And that's why I think I feel a lot more comfortable about it. So if there's anything you want to take away from this video, is definitely check in on your budget, just at the very least on a weekly basis, but keep track of your transactions every single day. It only took me a few minutes to go in each day and keep track of everything, but it really did just give me such a peace of mind. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm excited to see how the end of April goes and move into May. And yeah, another thing I'll say is about the iPad is that I'm excited to use it for digital planning and hopefully some plan with me videos. So stay tuned for that as I get more of a hang of it, I guess, and see what I can do on there. But yeah, thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please like it. It really helps out my channel. If you want to subscribe and see more content, that's great as well. And yeah, let me know how the month of April is going for you, or how this last week went for you. I hope you all are having a great day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye now.